Only one.
The king got conquered by the prince. Two guys who had made back-to-back hundreds. What a contrasting story it was. Shubman Gill made 100 against SRH. It was like, okay, it was expected. Virat Kohli scoring 100 against Sunrisers. The king had equaled the universe boss. Today Virat Kohli 101 of 61. Not held by his own team. Not held by his own backup. The story of 15 years. What happens? The prince shows the king, I can play this game too.
But what is the key difference?
Vijay Shankar and that partnership.
Not just Vijay Shankar. He got support. He got support from Vijay Shankar. To be fair, Miller too could have stuck around. Tewatia stuck around, did the smart thing.
Yes.
Tewatia too is someone who can tonk a big one. But what did he do? He gave the strike to Shubman consistently, saying, you know what, you're hitting it well, you're seeing it.
Yep.
You go there and do it. The big difference. Big difference between GT.
And because of this, your fourth team is the Mumbai Indians.
Yeah. Isala Cup nahi.
Nahi. It's not.
Faf was right.
And today, Virat Kohli was let down by his own team.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there can be no sympathies whatsoever for Royal Challengers Bangalore. Because you are expected a guy to carry the world on his shoulders.
Every single year.
That guy is a superman. And today, 13 boundaries, 1 6. But the remaining 43 runs came off 47 balls. But who will we blame? We will blame the likes of Glenn Maxwell. We will blame the likes of Anuj Rawat. We will blame Faf, Mahipal Lomror,
Dinesh
Karthik.
Maxwell?
I said Maxwell.
Yeah, we already said Maxwell.
Maxwell.
He's the first on the list.
Faf, Mahipal Lomror, and Dinesh Karthik.
And to make matters worse, not a good effort in the field.
Not a field effort at all.
And even the bowling for that matter, I thought was bang average for a lot of the guys.
Vishak.
No.
Starting with Vishak, I just didn't understand why. Because you knew that the Pacers were going to get hit. Harshal Patel, unfortunately, woefully out of form. Siraj held his nerve. He was the one who hustled the batters in the first in the power play. Saha was all over the place.
Yeah.
But when Shubman hit that 6 of Mohammad Siraj, you could see that was the hammer blow for Royal Challenge. They just couldn't believe it. And yet another campaign has ended in tears. And it's a repeat of 2012 yet again. Because in 2012, RCB just had to win. But they lost to the Deccan Chargers by 9 runs. You could argue that Deccan Chargers were the wooden spooners.
132.
They lost by 9 runs. But here, you were facing a GT team who are
at the top of
brilliant
the game.
in chasing.
And arguably the best team in the IPL right now. I mean, defending champions, they've top of the group. They've now in fact topped the group with 20 points.
20.
Which means
how much
10.
did they end with last year? 18 or 20?
I think it was 18.
I think it was 18 last year.
18. And even Mohammad Siraj, that look that is there, and Virat Kohli also was in tears. I mean, I think he knows now that maybe I have given my all. How much more can I give? And that's it. He's let down by a management that has been blinded by playing only 3 proper batters.
And one bowler along with them.
And just one bowler.
Previously it was Yuzi Chahal, now it's Siraj.
That's it. I had said this, many people panned me for it. You cannot win an IPL with 3 batters. And it's been proven right yet again. And I am joined by Nikhil. Nikhil, well, RCB did Faf du Plessis slip Isala Cup nahi in the beginning of the IPL. Did he really have to lose this today? And what can you say that RCB, yet another year, they had it in their hands, but they decided to, okay, let the other team go through.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know whether that was just a coincidence that he said that. Of course, he said that by mistake. He's not very well versed with Kannada as much as our good friend Siddharth. By the way, I can't see you guys, so I wish I could, but maybe there's something wrong with my video call. I would have loved to have seen you guys. But, firstly, before I even get into the game, I'd like to say that what an outstanding season we had. We've had 70 games, and it is the 70th game and the final over of the 70th game which has given us our top 4. So that by itself just indicates towards a stellar season, outstanding season. And this is what I think fans really like the IPL for. So having seen a season like this once again, I think kudos to the format, and I think the competitiveness of the team and how closely matched they are. So on that regard, outstanding. As a neutral fan, I couldn't have asked for anything more. This entire day was topsy-turvy. At one point, one team can go through. I mean, the day started with, 3 teams in contention. Then SRH get the total that they get. You think it'll be very tough for Mumbai. Mumbai chase it down. Then you think Mumbai will go through irrespective of the run rate because it's raining heavily in Bangalore. The game is delayed. Then the game starts. Then the way Virat Kohli bats. I mean, Rajasthan is eliminated with Mumbai's victory. Then the way Virat Kohli bats, takes his team to 198. From there on, you think, okay, RCB are making it. Mumbai are going to be out. And then as I say, the protege trumping the master. So the master in Virat Kohli getting 100, but his protege Shubman Gill doing one better. So all in all, this entire day was topsy-turvy. So many things happening. It kind of reminded me, I don't know, maybe not to that extent, but kind of reminded me 2019, that 50-over World Cup final. So there's a cricket final happening at one end, and there was the Wimbledon final and the Formula One Grand Prix all happening simultaneously. This is not quite like that, not simultaneously, but I'm just, get the sentiment. 3 teams in contention at the start of this day, and then eventually, as I said, at the last over, you get to know which is the 4th team that's qualified, Mumbai Indians. I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall in that hotel room or a hotel lounge or wherever else the Mumbai Indians team gathered. Maybe I will get to see those visuals a little later. But a stunning day for the IPL. I'm a bit short on words. But as a cricket fan, couldn't have asked for anything more.
Yeah, I mean, Nikhil, I think very rarely we have seen 300s in a day. Cameron Green with 100, Shubman Gill with 100, and Virat Kohli 100. But Nikhil, I would want to know from you, okay, Virat Kohli and Shubman Gill, two people scoring back-to-back hundreds. Shubman did it against SRH, Virat did it against SRH. Here, Virat scored 100 or 61 balls, Shubman trumped it. Now, how will you view those 200s? Looking at not just the outcome of this result, but you said the student trumped the master. But was the student already in pole position when you look at it, as far as his form is concerned, as far as team is concerned? How would you view both these hundreds now?
I think the 100, it's very tough to... I know there will be a lot of talk that, okay, another 100 for Virat Kohli, but what's the point? They ended up on the losing side. But I don't think that's how I view it. I think it was a 100 of high quality by Virat. You look at it anyway, look at the bowling attack that he was up against, one of the best in this IPM. Look at the situation, the context. It's a crucial game, high pressure game, and he gets that 100. Look at his strike rate. Absolutely much better than satisfactory. So I don't see any reason that not to term it as a high quality 100. And similar for Shubman Gill. I think the major difference why one Centurion ended up on the winning side and the other ended up on the losing side. One, I think Virat Kohli just didn't get the support from the other. And we knew this was going to happen. This would have happened sometime. They were literally playing with 3 batsmen. So Faf du Plessis, when he got going and alongside Virat, they would pose a total that'd be very imposing for other teams to, chase down. But that wasn't to be. Glenn Maxwell on certain days have been outstanding. Today also, I think he could have been a bit more circumspect, a bit more careful, a bit more responsible because, another 10, 20 runs here and there. He was batting as if he's going to be chasing 280, and that's not what RCB was aiming at. In fact, RCB didn't have to worry about net run rate anyway. All they needed to do was tick a box, and ticking a box would have been 210, 215 would have ticked the box. But I don't think he batted like that. And when they were 5 down, from there on, consolidated. Anuj Rawat chipped in with a few, but I think I can't take anything away from Virat, that even in that situation, he found a way to continue with that strike rate, get 100, and take his team, very close to 200. So I think Virat's 100 absolutely of high quality. The benefit Shubman had was one, better support from his teammate. Yes, you could argue that today Vijay Shankar, who got a decent amount of runs, wasn't in that free-flowing form that we've sometimes seen him this season, but yet contributed. And then you have other batters to contribute throughout. And I think the biggest advantage, apart from anyone else chipping in, I think the biggest advantage that Shubman had, one, he knew the total they were chasing, and so he could pace the inning like that, he could bat like that. And truth be told, there's a huge difference between the bowling attack of RCB and Gujarat Titans. So Virat Kohli gets 100 against a much better bowling attack than Shubman Gill got. Other than Siraj, I don't see this as a top-class bowling attack. Gujarat Titans, on the other hand, have some outstanding bowlers. Two of them who are in fact fighting for the purple cap at the moment in Mohammad Shami and Rashid Khan. And Noor, how good he has been in the latter half of the tournament that he's come. So a much better quality attack to deal with. Virat Kohli had, Shubman did not. And of course, Shubman had the advantage of knowing exactly the total that he was chasing. So in that regard, he got that benefit. But if you were to ask me to pick who got a better 100, it's very, very close. Yes, one team won, and so one of those Centurions ended up on the winning side, the other on the losing side, but very tough to choose which one was a better quality 100.
Look, the story of RCB, forever for the last decade or so, just relying on 3 batters. In the previous era, it was Gale, Kohli, A.B. de Villiers. Now, it is Kohli, Maxwell and Faf. Faf with the orange cap of 730 runs, Kohli now with 639, Maxwell underperforming. But then, Nikhil, how much will you blame this management? Because this management has kind of not even changed the template for a decade. Individual brilliance, not having an all-round team. Why do you think this is happening with RCB the most often?
I don't think the template's really an issue with them. I think it's just at the auction, the team that you pick. Maybe that's something that needs to be looked at, and people involved in the auction need to be looking at that. I think that's been their formula. They've gone with it. They've changed leaders over the years. Virat was there, now Faf du Plessis has come. They had previous captains before that. None of them seems to have worked. They've always been, I think they've inculcated that star culture, and to an extent that's worked also for RCB. I mean, dare I say that after Chennai Super Kings, you'd have to say that they are probably the second most followed team with a very loyal fan following at the moment. I mean, my travel during this IPL to various stadiums have told me 2 things. Either people come to see Chennai Super Kings led by MS Dhoni, or they come to see Royal Challengers Bangalore, not led by, but starred by Virat Kohli. So on that front, I think they've been successful of creating the brand that they did. They have a massive fan following. They've not won a title, and it's not easy to maintain that sort of fan following despite not winning a title, but somehow RCB have managed to do that. So they created that culture. I don't know. I mean, just looking at the subplots, the neutrals would have wanted RCB to win today, because the neutrals would have wanted to see that Lucknow Super Giants and RCB game, because that, I think, was probably the most talked about game this IPL, alongside that game where Rinku Singh gets 31 runs of the last over, the 2 most talked about games. So everyone would have wanted, but that wasn't to be. I mean, what they need to go, going forward, what they need to do is something that I think is not a decision you can have immediately. There were times that they had, Chris Gale, A.B. de Villiers, Virat Kohli. But I think one thing that's been really constant with RCB is the bowling's always, been below par, not up to scratch. And that's been a constant with most RCB teams. The batting on quite an occasion is done well. They had a lot of faith in someone like a Dinesh Karthik. He's had a disastrous season. I don't know what everyone thinks, and I'd love to know everyone else's view as well of whether they think that this is Dinesh Karthik's last season. The rest of the youngsters, Shahbaz, done well sometimes. They persisted with him. I think one player whose absence would probably are going to be underestimating is Patidar. Had he been there, I think would have made a huge difference to this batting lineup, would have given it some sort of consolidation, some sort of a backbone beyond the three that we look at. Because with Maxwell, it's always hit and a mix. So it was always going to be Faf du Plessis and Virat. So you needed someone like a Patidar to be there. Much more was expected out of Dinesh Karthik. That wasn't to be. So, I mean, plenty of issues there from that. But, having said that, I have to say something about Gujarat Titans as well. In a league where we've seen teams, when they've qualified or have been out of the race, they've taken it rather easy. SRH continue to do that against Mumbai Indians today. Again, playing probably the worst bowling lineup. And I maintain that other fields will feel aggrieved. If I'm an RCB, I'm not going to be happy with SRH with the kind of bowling that they played, or teams previously also. The kind of bowling lineup SRH has been playing. So on that regard, kudos to Gujarat Titans with a change here or there. Predominantly have been playing their strongest team despite the fact that they had nothing much to gain. They had qualified and also qualified as the top two team. Yet you realize how much this win meant to them. Probably momentum was on that night. They knew that, if you don't have that kind of momentum, it could be a issue, one loss here and there. And one begets another and gets another one. You don't want to be having a loss just before you play qualifier one. So maybe that was something on their mind. Overall, kudos to Hardik Pandya and the Gujarat Titans management to have played or continued playing their best team.
So I'll just throw this question that you posed, Nikhil, to the DK conundrum.
Yeah.
Gargi, looking at DK, you saw that he was subbed out, he was the impact serve, and his contributions with the bat have also been very, very negligible. Now, as Nikhil said, is this the last we've seen of DK in IPL?
It could very well be, because DK had a good run with RCB for one single season, and after that they've persisted with him, they've backed him very well, and in this season as well, he's played every single match, but he's just failed to give them any result whatsoever. So I think there comes a time when you're forced to look at a better option, and I think the time is now, because RCB are becoming way too predictable in the way they lose the games, the way they come onto the playoff stage or something like that and then lose. It's just very predictable of RCB at this moment, and it's not right on anyone, on the fans, on the management. I think it's time that you look for better players. First of all, I think you need to go for specialists, especially because you've had enough of your stars, and what can they do more than what Virat Kohli did today? I mean, Faf failed, Glenn failed, Dinesh Karthik failed today. So I think this should be a turning point for RCB, because this time it did look like RCB might just make it to the playoffs or the eliminators, but they did not, and it sort of highlights this big void in the team, and it needs to be addressed now. It's high time.
Now there is a void with the way how you're speaking. Also, you seem to be very emotional about it.
I want to know from Gargi, how's she feeling?
Yeah.
Oh, at a loss for words right now, because I don't know. It's expected. I sort of expected RCB to do this, but then. I said in the mid innings as well that 197 is not going to be a good enough target. Yes, Virat Kohli sort of put all his heart out while batting, but then when you're playing with a team like GT and the way that they bat, and Shubman Gill's been batting, that's not a good enough total, and you're batting at the Chinnaswamy, knowing that you don't have a good enough bowling lineup. 197 is not enough.
Exactly.
I mean, that's interesting. She says that I kind of expected it. Why do you say that? And probably I think your best place to tell us, that's the question that Siddharth had asked me as well. What keeps happening to our RCB? And you've been a long-time supporter of Royal Challengers Bangalore. I mean, what do you think? What goes wrong? I mean, is it tough being an RCB supporter? And what is it that told you inside that they're still not going to make it, despite them being in pole position. Dare I say, amongst all the teams going into the final day, they were in the best position. All they needed to do was win their game. Yet, being a fan, somewhere you have the doubts. How has it been, just being an RCB fan?
I think this is just what we saw today of RCB was just classic, and we've seen this more than a few times, and that's what kind of, as an RCB fan, your heart tells you that, oh no, maybe this will be one of those games where RCB just win it from the very folk turn. I don't know. RCB's just been doing this for way too long, and you kind of start expecting it at one point. That's all.
So is it tough? Is it tough being an RCB fan?
Yeah, why not? I mean, see, I think every franchise has won it, right?
No.
Except one or two.
Punjab Kings,
Punjab.
DC and RCB.
Punjab and RCB. Now, out of these threes, isn't RCB a much better team?
But I mean, they made it to 3 finals and
Much
lost
better
so,
management, much better team.
8
You've got
playoffs, which led to 3 finals. And I'll tell you what, yes, Delhi, since Delhi were mentioned in that list, and of course Delhi, it's not a good list to be on. It's rather one of those lists you never want to feature on. But I'll tell you what hurts less, let's say, as a DC fan too. At least I know I didn't have the best of players at one. I don't have a superstar like a Virat Kohli at my disposal for about 15 odd years. And that hurts less. I'd probably assume that it hurts more that given all the star power, given all the fandom, given all the limelight, given all the expectation as well, you were expected to deliver after some point. We're not having to deal with all of that right now, and I'm glad in a way that at least Delhi, that's what made, pains a little less. Let's say we didn't have any of these. Superstars
Mohit, Harshay / Mohit. I want to say that they didn't have superstars. I think, Delhi is a different story altogether. You had all the superstars that they
Not
were.
for 15
you had
years.
A.B. de Villiers at one point to let him go. You had David Warner, peak David Warner at one point.
Sehwag, Gambhir.
Nothing much came. Virender Sehwag, Gautam Gambhir.
We can add Yuvraj also to that list.
They've gone outside of Delhi to do well. Just that Delhi couldn't get them to do well.
No.
There was no shortage of superstars.
You didn't have arguably the best player of the country with you for 15 odd years.
You could have.
You could have, again, but you don't.
Please highlight that point.
You went
but
Pradeep
you
Sangwan. That also is your mistake. You went Pradeep Sangwan.
Yes.
But see, the thing is that at the end of the day, whatever said and done, expectations, 3 finals, 2 finals, 1 final. At the end of the day, it comes back to those iconic words said by Jose Mourinho when he was managing Inter Milan. All of y'all have 0 tituli, which means 0 titles. So it doesn't really matter after a point. 0 tituli is where it stands, and unfortunately for RCB. And you know what really frustrates me with RCB? I think it's something just ingrained in the way they build their teams. You know why? Because it's not just with the men's team anymore. You saw the same thing with the RCB women's team. Same thing. 3-star batters, 1-star bowler, and that's it. Who were 3-star batters? You had Elise Perry, you had Smriti Mandhana, and you had Sophie Devine, and the star bowler Renuka Singh.
Yeah.
After that, Richa Ghosh.
After that, Palan Haring. Yet again, same thing.
You see,
it's just in the DNA of that franchise, I feel, at this point.
No, and if I have to look at, the most frustrating thing about RCB is the amount of spectacular botches that they have to do.
yeah.
I think you could make like a top 10 of the number of times they've bottled it in epic fashion. I think you can.
Top 10 in 15 years.
Yeah, sure. Sure you can. Of course you can.
Yeah, see, I had said in the start also that this reminded me of 2012.
Nikhil, don't let that be a story for tomorrow's show.
It could be actually. It's a good story.
You can hold on to that because it's a timeless story. You can hold on to that, can be done anytime because it's a timeless story. RCB 10 moments in 15 years.
You could really come up with 10.
Why 10? Have all 15.
No, I'm saying 10 you can have because there's some seasons where actually, yeah, that's true.
How could you botch up the 2016 final? Okay, if you
Home
want,
title, home final, best batsman in the world at that point.
Nikhil had said no, biggest mystery not playing Yuzi Chahal.
No, it's RCB not being able to win a title.
I think that should be the title of the second book.
0 tituli.
Yep. See, how did RCB not win the IPL when Virat Kohli was in the Bradmanesque or Kohli-esque form?
It's the same thing that we're talking about right now, na?
No one to support him.
Exactly, wasn't ably supported by others.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
In fact, you want a funny stat I was seeing today is that Virat as a combination, him and AB scored 979 runs together. Okay, now him and Duplessis have also scored 979 runs together. But again, it comes back to zero Tituli.
Zero Tituli, and look at the coincidences. 2013, Kohli and Gambhir fought. 2023, Kohli and Gambhir fought.
Neither
Who
year.
played the final? MICSK.
But
both are in the final.
You know what this also means? Just doing what CSK do to win titles doesn't mean you win titles. So replacing David Willey with doesn't always get you titles.
It happened in 2018. Willie replaced by Kedar Jadhav.
आप समझ रहे हो? नहीं समझे?
समझ गए?
RCB didn't get the memo clearly.
Yes. So that's why they are frustrating because of the number of times they have botched up a chance
Yeah.
to reach the playoffs.
They have everything.
लकी चाम था हर जगह
वो जाके वहाँ अनलकी चाम बन गया. बताओ.
That's RCB's DNA.
as a LSG fan feeling sad
Of course, would have wanted that.
Okay, by the way, we were all, why the neutrals and all, like you also said, Nikhil.
Yeah.
You wanted an LSG RCB eliminator because of the heat, because of what it would generate. Now that is unfortunately or fortunately not happening. But a certain Naveen-ul-Haq,
Nikhil, if you could check your phone, please.
yes, he has actually put a story out on Instagram. It's a very cryptic story, but I want your interpretation of it.
Milking it completely.
Is he doing the unthinkable, like what we are all saying, like, okay, Virat is in tears.
I'm gonna
Is
laugh.
he mocking it by laughing?
100%.
Yeah.
Our two
Of
guys-
course he is. But I think he is, if he's doing it, and I've just seen that story as well. I'm going to show everybody that story.
We have it, Nikhil.
Yes.
Yeah, we have it. We put it out. Yep, it's for everyone to see and interpret. And I'll just add to it, by the way, this is a very famous
Just let it play. 1 second. Just let it play. 1 second. Just let it play.
God, not best of us.
Speaks for itself, really.
Yes.
So that's the story by Naveen-ul-Haq. Clearly, I mean, I don't think this is cryptic at all. This is quite direct. He's having a gala time. He's, enjoying the fact that RCB have been knocked out. A team, that was not led again. A team that is synonymous with Virat Kohli, and after all that happened between these two teams. So I'm guessing he's put that out. I know this is his personal feed. This is social media. He's allowed to do whatever he wants. But you ask me personally, I think this is in bad taste.
Yeah.
You're taking it too far. You're taking it beyond what sports is supposed to be.
Yes.
In sports, there are moments where, an argument happens, things get hot under the collar. It's all right. I mean, it happens. It's part of sport. But whatever happens, you leave it at the field, you move on. That's it. That's how most good sportsmen or competitive sportsmen would do. And even if you are not happy with what has happened there, and you don't want to let bygones be bygones, you don't make a public display of such thing. You keep it within you, and you keep it in your mind. Okay, if I don't know exactly what was spoken, but if he feels he was ill-treated, you keep it in your heart and you say, no, I didn't like it. I'll never be friends, or I would never, share a Christmas card with this gentleman or anyone else. But I'm not going to go publicly and do this. I mean, this is, I don't know, this is schoolboy kind of stuff. You expect little better from mature adults, and that too professional sports people. It's part of sport. So I don't know. I'd love to know from all of you what you think of it, but I think it's a bit childish and in poor taste.
It in fact, Nikhil, it takes me back to that time where you uploaded that story of mangoes as well. You remember? Now that had also happened after Virat Kohli had put out a story, which is the usual motivational stuff. And all time Virat Kohli puts 1, 2. He had those appreciation words for Ridhiman Saha
and Rashid Khan.
Exactly, and Rashid Khan for that catch. Now, what this also very clearly tells me that not just that, this is clearly retaliatory.
Yeah.
He's just again
100%.
This is in fact nudging somebody for something that had happened in the past. This is again this is just digging up things of the past. This is just digging up things which should better be left buried. But what this also clarifies for me is that there was no, let's say, there's no mystery around those earlier stories then. It's very clear. Yes, of course, we failed to sort of gauge it then, and maybe people around did manage to probably have that guess that no, this is definitely he's taking a dig and those mangoes taste extra sweet and whatnot. But clearly, not just that, this is very well intended at RCB, at Virat Kohli, and it is, as Nikhil just said, in bad taste. This is not good sportsmanship, and this doesn't project you as an ideal sports person as well.
Yes.
I'll go on further. So it's a well-known fact, and this is not hearsay or something that I'm quoting out of, let's say, a rumor. It's a well-known fact that the two Belgian football teammates, Kevin De Bruyne and Thibaut Courtois, who actually had a bit of a falling out, and mind you, they're teammates, not even let's say rival team players or anything. They play for the same national team, so they had a falling out. Why?
But Shane, the reasons behind that was I don't know. That wasn't just on the field.
The point is, I know, and I'm saying that's actually far more personal, because Thibaut Courtois ended up having an affair with De Bruyne's partner at that point, and yet despite those kind of animosities, nowadays you see the two, they are at the very least cordial with each other in public, because they know and understand that being public figures comes with certain responsibilities. I might not like the guy, I might not ever be inviting him over to my house, but if we're playing or representing our country, then we need to actually be, we're bigger than these things.
Yeah.
And I mean, imagine how tough it would be for a De Bruyne. It would be horribly tough. How can you look that guy in the face again after what he did? But in public, both of them are very dignified. That is the thing. I'm sorry, the way Naveen is going about with things, it's childish, it's teenage behavior.
Yeah. And I mean...
but the difference, can I tell you one more thing? The difference, Shane, between those two instances or examples, or the analogy that you've taken, the difference is at that moment, De Bruyne and Courtois both know that they have to play for the same team. True. I mean, just to play devil's advocate, Naveen here knows that probably, internationally they'll never be teammates, of course, but probably they'll never be teammates in an IPL too. And now, after what has happened, they will not be teammates in the IPL, because one out of the two is definitely going to be in a decision-making capacity as to who the other players are going to be. So they're never going to be teammates. So in that sense, you don't expect either of them to bury the hatchet and be just okay. But in that case, you needed to, because you were going to be teammates, and that would hamper, how a team plays if two of you are at loggerheads. So that's not the thing here. So here the difference is, it's okay. You don't have to even shake hands. It's okay if you want to continue. Maybe if things that were said were very nasty, you've taken it personally, fine. Don't be friends. Don't shake hands. Don't bury the hatchet. Don't do all of that. That's fine. Keep it within you. But so long as it's within you, you know what's happened. Don't be friends. Don't greet each other. Don't be in public places. Whatever. But once you start putting it out on social media, and as I said, childish sort of behavior where you're mocking the other person, poking fun at him in this sort of a way, I think that's not done. That's below the belt.
Yeah, Gargi.
Yeah, I was saying there's this, they say in cricket, what happens on the field stays on the field, and it should be left on the field. And this is just, Naveen, at this point it looks like he's just really thriving off of the attention that he's getting from, I don't know, the fans or something, and he's really...
trolls, not even fans.
Yeah, he's...
egging him on away.
Yeah, he's really enjoying that kind of attention, and I mean, this is just silly from Naveen. And you've seen players be very, very aggressive on the field and then hug it out later.
Yeah.
It's something that happens all the time. But then to come out on social media and talk about it in public, I think that's just very, very in bad taste, like we said.
I will tell you 3 instances. Okay, 3 points I'll just make. Number 1, I think with this story, okay, whatever few sympathies Naveen-ul-Haq might have, I think he will lose that, because primarily, see, you are taking sadistic pleasure out of a loss.
Yeah.
Okay,
Someone's
it's a
failure.
heartbreaking loss.
Yeah.
It's a heartbreaking loss, because if I see that story, okay, suppose I'm recovering from a very heavy loss.
No, that's.
I will be
I'm not
furious.
He's not supposed to. So sorry to cut you short there, but I'm just saying he's not supposed to be sympathetic in this loss, right?
I know, but there is a way how to go about
Be
it.
classy.
Be classy.
Exactly. But to expect sympathy, I don't expect that from
No.
anyone. Let's say for that
That's
matter.
not happening.
But this is just needlessly rubbing salt into the wound.
Second, I don't know whether Naveen-ul-Haq believes in karma, but karma often can bite you back hard.
That's
Remember, this is the first season of a big IPL. Naveen could be part of several more IPLs.
Yeah.
What if, okay, he set the wrong benchmark. What if, after every particular match where he gets absolutely hammered, there is this army of fans who just decide to make his life
but
living hell on
Siddharth,
the
just again, as I said, I've already criticized Naveen, but there is a backdrop to it, and probably what's kept that fire burning inside of him to keep getting back at Virat Kohli has been exactly that. Everywhere he's been going after that, fans have been chanting Kohli, Kohli. So clearly that hurts as well. So probably even if you wanted to move on from there, it's not been made easy by the fans. And I know it happened in Kolkata, that last game that he was playing, and you remember that particular instance where a wicket fell, and he even looked at the crowd and did this because the crowd was screaming Kohli, and it's happening at every ground he's going. So it's making it worse. And in fact, the ones adding fuel to the fire have been fans also that have been rather nasty. So that's one thing. But the other interesting thought that Gargi had, and I'd love to know from all of you, do you also think that Naveen is now doing it not so much about him being hurt or carrying some sort of residue of that fight? It's more because now he's getting the attention and he's getting more social media followers, and he's more in the trending list. He's being spoken about more, because I know of a lot of people who would go to this extent so that they're a bit relevant, so that they are spoken about in social media, so that they are trending and people talk about it, media covers them by doing such things. I don't know, I can't speak for Naveen because he'd know best, but I don't know, how do you guys judge it from the outside? Is it that, or is it no, it's just that hurt from that incident, and after that what the fans have been doing is what's driving him?
It's a mixture of both. See, this is a classic case of pouring fuel into the fire. If you really want to ensure that what happens on the field stays on the field, you need certain groups to ensure that peace is maintained. But in a country like this, where fan following is at its absolute peak, they won't let that rest. Why do you think we wanted an LSG RCB eliminator? Let us be very, very honest about it. Did we want to see quality cricket on action? No. We were all praying, hoping, let us have yet another Gambhir versus Kohli argument. Let us have that. They were not too keen about the cricket. That is the mentality of the fans. And to expect from this particular group, let whatever happen on the field stay on the field, is way, way too rich. That is the prime reason. And Naveen will feed off that. Because the fans have been pouring fuel to the fire here. I'm reading even on Instagram, I think we just saw a story, right?
We don't know that.
We don't know that, but there is a video going around, which might be fake also, when Virat Kohli was fielding, some fans were chanting Gambhir, Gambhir. I don't know how true that is. But if this kind of mentality is there, I am...
But I tell you what, I agree, we've said that what the fans are doing is not ideal. But I'm also going back to 20, 30, whatever years you go back into, or at least 20 odd years that I've been covering. I've seen this happen live that fans also like, adding fuel to the fire. They'll always be like this, and especially opposition fans or fans of a player that support you and you've done well against him, whether it's at the international level or even at the domestic level. I've even seen it at the Ranji level. There can be nasty fans that turn up, but I think it's your job then as a player, a top level player, to ignore them or learn how to handle that situation. Even that needs to be done. I think also the other problem is, yes, fans are nastier maybe compared to earlier, but to say that nasty fans didn't exist also wouldn't be true. I think players were far better off handling that. Maybe it's the advent of social media, because it's there now. You can just respond to whatever you want directly. In those days, I remember I've been to a few Ranji matches where fans were sledged, players were sledged by the fans, opposition fans, for some incident in the previous match, or animosity with one of their players at a different game. So the fans would really get after them, and they weren't too many security personnel there to even stop them. But I think the players learned to ignore it. There were no reaction from them after they would take a wicket like this, or none of that. They'd just get down to business, do it. Probably they were more mature. And then there was, of course, no social media that they could go out and put an Insta story or a tweet or whatever. But none of that happened. They kept it at that. They continued to play, did their job. And whatever happened, they learned to develop a thick skin and learn to, deal with certain things. This comes with the territory. So I guess somewhere even players need to figure out how to deal with this.
Yeah, I mean, Nikhil, you nailed the point on the head. I mean, social media. That is about it. Those two words sum up this current behavior. Like you said, maybe all these fans, these hates that are coming, the thin skinness that is there, it's all because of social media. Players are coping with an image on the field, but they now also have the double pressure of coping off the field as well. That is why probably MS Dhoni's mantra is great. He is not active on social media. Either learn from him, don't respond.
Well done to him. Kudos to him.
Kudos.
Be like MSD. Be like MS Dhoni.
I think as for this entire thing with Naveen, truth be told, I don't think it's any planned strategy from him. He doesn't seem like the type. Again, as I say, he's that guy who'd pick a fight in an empty room if it really came down to it. He does have that tendency. And truth be told, if it were planned, you'd see him doing this with a lot more people. But again, I remember, he tends to have this reactive nature to him. Because I remember when Shahid Afridi, that incident happened with Shahid Afridi and Amir. Yeah, in the LPL, Lanka Premier League.
Even with Tisara Pereira also.
Yeah, no, it was the Lanka Premier League, not the PSL. No, Shahid and Amir, because he was having a fight with Amir and Shahid Afridi stepped in. And then Afridi had said on Twitter, he quote-tweeted an incident and said, I was just telling the young man to stay calm and keep things on the field. And then Naveen actually found that tweet and responded. So he has that tendency, that, dare I say, that chill, to use a word which we are this thing that, he has to kind of prove his point come what may. And if he feels wrong by Kohli, then he is going to make it clear every single time that he's having a laugh at Kohli's expense. Reactions be damned. So that is what he's doing here.
What I feel about this whole situation, and just thinking of it as far as Naveen is concerned, nothing happens to Virat in all of this, by the way. He's playing in his own country. It is very much a league that he owns in many ways with his bat, by the way, not in any other terms. But what this does is, I think for Naveen, though, I think he's burning a lot of bridges over here with this combative tendency that he's showing again and again. I think he might just find it difficult to find himself a franchise if his cricket drops just a little bit. It just needs to drop a little bit, and I don't think this behavior will be will be perceived well by the other franchises.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think it could very well be that the franchises are looking at him in a negative light, because it is Virat Kohli, and maybe it is that he's trying to troll the fans with his stories and whatever, but then it's his future, it's his career, also, and he needs to be careful about that.
He should see. It's like, going ahead and fighting in the heavyweight category and you yourself in the lightweight category right now. He's picking up the wrong battle.
Yeah, what will happen? Like you said, even if something wrong happens with his career or his performance goes down a little bit, it will all come down to his attitude. That's where the questions will be raised. Yeah, that's where the questions will be raised.
Like Fernando Alonso once famously remarked to, I think, Julian Palmer, if I'm not mistaken, he had actually crashed into him at Monza, but Palmer didn't get a penalty. He should have been given a penalty. But then Palmer retired after that. And then Alonso's, where's Palmer? Palmer's retired. Karma. That's what it is. It'll be karma.
And see, that's fair to Alonso. He was never someone who really caused a lot of crashes. So
Yes.
can't really take that away from him. But I think, in the case of Naveen unfortunately just seems to be that guy. As I said, it's not really something that, let's say, it's not necessary, truth be told. He doesn't need to be doing this. And I'm sorry, and I hate saying this, but he's not that big a star either, that he can be burning so many bridges already at this point in time. He can't be.
Yeah, I mean, see, you remember one upcoming West Indies cricketer tried a similar thing like
Kesrick Williams.
when Virat Kohli got out, he had the notebook. But 2
And
years
then
later,
what happened to Kesrick Williams?
yep, he's nowhere. And when Kohli went after him in Vizag,
Oh dear God, that was something else.
he not only unfolded a notebook, he unfolded an entire, you may say, phone dictionary.
Yeah.
Yes, in that sense. So, remember, what happened to Kesrick Williams might happen to even Naveen-ul-Haq. Remember, suppose IPL is just a small fry. Suppose if India-Afghanistan face off in the Asia Cup, where pride and matchups are at bed bigger.
Well, Naveen-ul-Haq won't be selected for the ODIs.
I know, but if it happens, and if Virat gets the better of him, then you won't look at your IPL exploits, my friend. You are really going to ensure, you may want to regret it. See, I agree, the sympathy wave that was there. Yes, at the heat of the moment, what happened? Okay, you're 50% at fault. The other one is 50% at fault.
But now it's just being driven forward by one person.
Yeah, I think you're.
You know, the best thing about being a player of this stature that Naveen-ul-Haq is, he's building his career. He's at a great stage right now, being highlighted in the IPL, in a great franchise, he's doing so well. You can let your ball do the talking. That is the biggest, shut up to anyone that is, abusing him, trolling him, whatever.
Yeah.
Just, calm down.
And truth be told, that is part of the thing, is that he needs to kind of let his career do the talking. Also, we're talking about relations. For the most part, India and Afghanistan have very strong relations at an international level. I'm not just talking diplomatically, cricketing as well. After the match, Kohli went and actually gave a signed jersey to Rashid Khan.
Yes.
So they are very close. Generally speaking, I've always seen a lot of the Afghanistan players have very warm relations with a lot of the Indian top stars. It's a pretty cordial relationship, and then you have Naveen. Main ladega.
I mean, see, in a crate of good apples, there's one that might be rotten. So, unfortunately, Naveen is kind of veering into that, but I would suggest that,
let us ball to the talking.
You are, and I think whatever sympathies you might have gotten, slowly eroding away with this, because, fine, if you have to look at sadistic pleasure, okay, what if Naveen-ul-Haq in that England-New Zealand 2019 ODI World Cup, class and leadership learn from the Black Caps. Okay, they were down, but England appreciated them. England, where they didn't going to say, they didn't absolutely do the jersey weaving and all these kind of things. They had a celebration of absolute relief. But you remember when Martin Guptill was out, the England players came and comforted him. Like, we are sorry, but that's how the game is. Look at how New Zealand did it to South Africa, two bitterest rivals. No rivalry is more bitter than Australia, England, or New Zealand, South Africa in the world of sport.
Yeah.
But in the 2015 semi-final, Elliott had hit the winning runs of Dale Steyn, but it was Elliott himself who lifted Steyn off. And just had that. That was a beautiful moment. Unlike the Ashes, which was a made-up moment by Flintoff and Lee. I mean, some expletives were told, and we had level and some expletives. But here, genuine mutual admiration and feeling. That's what sport is. Not social media and not what you get sadistic pleasure out of. And I'm sorry, Naveen, he's in the wrong.
I think we've talked a lot about Naveen. Let's just quickly now touch base upon the one team that have finally made it to the playoffs.
Mumbai Indians.
Thought their stay could be momentary. It's not turned out to be so. They've sealed their place in the top 4, and how relieved would that can be?
Rohit Sharma gave a statement, right? I hope RCB do us a favor.
Yeah,
like
they did.
His wish has been granted.
And in fact, both years it was the one team actually, sacrificing themselves to get the other in. MI, of course, were already out by last year, but still, they ensured that RCB made it. And truth be told, I think, with MI, full credit to them. They absolutely deserve to get where they are. I still have a lot of doubts about their bowling right now, because again, they're going to be tested on, they're going to be playing the eliminator
LSG MI.
Yeah,
on 24th.
although to be fair, that's an interesting battle because that's two teams with plenty of stroke makers who are going to be on a little bit of a not so stroke makey pitch. So,
But remember, the Chepauk has changed. It's now become a
it's
true
yes,
Chepauk.
very.
But we got mixed signs from Chepauk this time.
Slowly
Yeah.
turning into
Don't forget.
Chinnaswamy.
Don't forget. Even the KKR match, first innings it was spinning like crazy.
Yeah.
That
So you've
match,
gotten
the
some
match
very
against
weird,
Rajasthan as well. That time also, the
Yeah.
track gave assistance to spinners.
But remember, Mumbai's batting lineup, man, that is
It's
powerful.
clicking.
It
Power
is.
packed.
Yeah.
It's clicking and how.
Rohit Sharma had a very important 50 today, and he
Yeah.
dispelled that notion. He doesn't perform well on Sundays. Well, he just did.
That's not to forget that he was dropped twice.
But
But
still,
still, he
But
made the most of his chances.
That's what good
Yeah.
batters do.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what good batters do. And when Rohit gets dropped, well, he ends up converting it
And-
into a 264 also at times.
Cameron Green with a brilliant 100,
Yeah. That's just 300s by the way on the same day.
which has never
Wow.
happened.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a first.
Also,
for-
another rare feat though. I think only the third and the fourth batters now, Virat Kohli and Shubman Gill, to score
Back to
back-to-back
back.
centuries.
Yeah,
I-
Shikhar Dhawan.
I only remembered Shikhar Dhawan. I had forgotten what happened last year.
Oh yeah,
Butler.
Butler.
Just about.
Butler
yes.
last year.
Yeah,
Yes, of
Kohli
course.
and Gill.
Kohli and Gill now. So, any elite list, of course, to say the least.
So Mumbai, somehow, some way, when it's a crunch moment, they make even the elements conspire to ensure.
And
that
it wasn't the elements. The only reason I picked GT to win this match is because they are the more superior side team.
Yes.
RCB really
Yeah.
needed miraculous performances from
Yes.
KGF. They got it from K. The GF let them down.
Yep.
I'm sure a lot of boys out there can relate.
In complicated relationships, that does happen indeed.
So the GF let them down, and unfortunately, that was it. That was all she wrote.
Yep.
We knew for a fact that 198, their bowling would need to be performing at next level to kind of ensure that they got the win. And then after that first wicket, when even with Vijay Shankar getting dodgy runs, he still got runs. You knew that this wasn't going to be that.
He hung in there.
I just want to get Shivan's word very quickly because Shivam was one guy who didn't want to see Mumbai in the playoffs.
For obvious reasons.
For obvious reasons. And you don't want
Yeah.
a certain giant to be there even when the giant has been in slumber, let's say all through. Shivam, your thoughts?
Am
अब
I-
तो आ गई है मुंबई.
RCB पहले ही चुप कर गए.
I know, but when you see LSG will be playing Mumbai now. Would you rather be less confident now, as you perhaps would have been had RCB been there, or
Supers.
it's 50-50? Against RCB, would have been much more confident. 60-40 had RCB been there, but it's 50-50 now.
60 for Lucknow.
60 for Lucknow. Because they have not lost 3-0. It's 3-0 LSG, Mumbai have not yet won. So, yes, congratulations to Mumbai Indians after 70 matches. We now have 4 teams can take some super chats.
Yes, I think we've got plenty of.
4 में जाते हैं ना तो वो थोड़े ज़्यादा strong. मतलब
Yeah.
उनको
थोड़े नहीं यार, they've reached 6 finals
Yeah.
और उसमें से 5 जीते हैं. So it's actually very very competitive.
Chennai have beaten them.
Exactly, and that to a Chennai beat a Mumbai who hadn't won a title. Ever since Mumbai won one title, they've been next level in finals.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's take some supers.
I am
Lots
shuddering.
of them.
If Mumbai reach the final, I am shuddering.
Yeah.
Big time.
By the way, remember what Rahul said the other day?
Yeah.
Nostradamus. he's not Rahul Rawat anymore. He's Nostradamus. Yeah, so we've got some super chats. Let's take them one by one. Mirage Rules. Being an ardent MI fan, I'm disappointed with this result. He wanted it to be in both places at the same time. I wanted RCB to go through as is a much better team than MI this season. Yes and no. This is not fair. MI has already overachieved this
So
season.
yes and no in the sense I think both teams are flawed.
Much better team.
That's very very subjective.
No.
That's where I said yes and no.
Yeah, because again RCB have had some flashes of brilliance from both batting and bowling.
Yes.
With MI, it's been a case of only their batting is
Only
shown
the
brilliance.
batting that's been winning them games, not the bowling, I would say.
Yeah.
Although you could say Piyush Chawla and Jason Behrendorff along with Akash Madwal, they also had some
No, but
moments.
Madwal also only came up much later.
Much later, yeah. But even RCB, their bowling only was dependent on Mohammad Siraj.
Yes, exactly.
That's the problem. MI has already overachieved this season. Agree, Mirage Rules. I do agree with
Absolutely.
that. Next.
Saurav Mukherjee.
Saurav Mukherjee. So what's happening first? Kane leaving Spurs or RCB winning IPL? This is classic RCB. How can you be so consistent for 16 years? They're awesome.
To answer your question, Saurav, it will be Kane leaving Spurs
Kane.
because he's leaving either this season or next season.
Oh.
And next year also, I know because
No, next year he's definitely leaving because he's out of contract.
Exactly. So, or he might just go this season because Spurs might want to cash
But
in.
it doesn't look like Daniel Levy wants to sell him.
Daniel Levy is a well, but I can't say those words on it.
Yep. Gansham Yadav from Canada is saying Virat too deserves a better team.
Yep.
Better support.
If you do
No, better
if RCB
Support.
don't have Virat,
From his teammates,
Yes.
but
Not a better
better
team
fan base.
as well,
I
yeah.
think he's blessed with
No, fan base great.
best fan base out there.
Fan base great, but better team definitely he could do
yeah,
it.
but if Virat goes, RCB goes.
No, he's not going anywhere. He's set it out.
Virat have to take care.
Naren B from the US giving
Thanks
us
for the money.
a lot of love. Thank you. Shubham is like saying, I don't know why Vijay has been treated harsh. As an active viewer, the guy played World Cup on the back of great series versus Aus 2019 and trolling is really harsh. He got chance and he should have refused for Raidu.
According to fans.
According
See,
to
that's fair, Shubham, but again, there's two sides to the story. I agree. Shankar is treated rather unfairly because, he was a player who had a skill set. Unfortunately, he was asked to play a totally different role. But I think also one of the problems was, I think he ended up getting or catching strays, to use social media parlance of modern day terms. Because fans weren't happy with the fact that you dumped Raidu to begin with. Yes, no one's denying the fact that he got the chance. And again, as I said, what abilities he had, he made the most out of it. But he was never a number 4 batsman. And off the back of one good series against Australia, you can't look at him and be like, yeah, this is our number 4. When you had a number 4 who was consistently doing well for you, number 2 Raidu.
But I'll again say one thing, okay, you're looking at Naveen and this was in poor taste. The 3D tweet that Ambati Raidu did was absolutely shameful.
Again, Ambati Raidu, by the way, is another man.
But then,
No,
I
why?
don't blame him.
Why?
I really don't blame him.
Why?
No, he could have still been classy.
He could have been classy.
He could have
about
been.
it. Did Vijay should
But
have
he
been
knew.
for it?
I'll tell you why there was a no holds barred attack from him. Let's say because he knew he wouldn't have another shot.
But
age
then-
was against him, and he had done everything that this management and the
Asked him
selectors
to
had
do.
been telling him.
This is the problem.
And we
He
have known
should
that
have
we have
backed
seen this over the years.
selector.
No, but we've seen this over the years. The communication
He
between
didn't.
the selector
By the way,
and
that
the player
3D
is never
drive
too
wasn't
easy.
for Shankar. It was for MSK.
It was for the
MSK, but
selectors.
What did
yeah.
MSK say? He gave a quote about Vijay Shankar.
Yeah, but it was a jibe at MSK,
Yeah.
not
I'll
Vijay.
tell you
Anyways.
why. No, but I'll tell you why. That 2019 management, you are all talking about the great era of Virat Kohli and Ravi Shastri, right? The dark underbelly of that was the off the spot courses approach.
No, anyway, see, that's a debate for another
Yeah.
time, which we've had. The point is, though, I do agree with you, but also I will say this: Ambati Raidu, another guy who in a closed room could pick a fight.
Could pick a fight. Absolutely. Harbhajan Singh and Ambati Raidu, yeah.
To be fair, Harbhajan Singh was in the wrong
Of
there.
course, but still.
Frank.
Ajit Giri is saying, don't you think VK should have gone for a 6 or 4 instead of 1 for his 100?
Yeah.
Oh, come on, Ajit Giri. Nah.
Yeah, come on.
No, that's just
Really,
too much.
really.
You're picking on straws. There has to be valid criticism.
Yeah, if you're criticizing Virat after today's match, then boss, I think you need a perspective shift.
See, I had highlighted that 43 or 47, but he had to play apart from the boundaries because his team was not supporting him.
Also, just look at his previous. It's about the ball that you faced. Last time around, it was Bhuvneshwar bowling at him. He got a juicy ball. He lofted it over mid-on.
Yeah.
Correct.
And he got to his 100 with his 6. This time around, the ball was much different, so it's fine. You can nudge the ball around, just knock it around. It's fine.
Okay, so
Let's take a couple more normal comments
normal
just before
chats.
we
Let's
wind
just
up.
see,
It's been a long night.
Long night indeed.
Yeah. No, down, all the way down.
Hariharan Vishwanathan and
हाँ, just check those.
I think we've got 2 more supers, no?
हाँ, वो check करो.
okay. Hariharan Vishwanathan from the US is saying RCB should change their name.
अरे
Okay. RCB should change their name. Numerology might help. Mike Hessel looks like a generalist and very uninspiring. They need Gautam Gambhir as coach who won 2 IPLs and 2 World Cups.
the day Gautam
It'll be a cold
Gambhir.
in hell, isn't it?
Yeah.
But Gautam can't go because he's so
dedicated to LSG.
Not just dedicated. He's got, let's say, he is so closely associated with the franchise. It doesn't look like he will make a move anywhere else.
Yeah.
Unlikely.
Okay, what was the final super chat?
We didn't disappear after all.
I feel Indian fans are on the.
I do agree with one thing, that this Rohitian, Viratian, MSDN thing is something that's gone too far.
Yeah.
I mean, we talk about, in India, we don't have club culture, we have star culture.
Yeah.
Truth be told, I'd rather have club culture.
Yeah.
At least then you're supporting a team rather than one individual like a madman.
Yeah, it's just the, blind ID. What was this? Idolizing,
Idol
idol
and as he
worship.
says, look, today you're seeing Gill get criticism, and at the end we have zero tituli. ICC titles, to bhaiya, what is the point?
This mentality will not get us anywhere. So
Yeah.
that's the thing. So that's about it.
Yep.
At 1:10 a.m. on 22nd of May,
RCB are out.
70 matches,
Yeah.
52 days, you finally have your 4 teams in the playoffs. Double headers done for this year. Congratulations to the Gujarat Giants, Chennai Super Kings, Lucknow Super Giants, and Mumbai Indians. It could have been RCB, but unfortunately, that's not the thing.
There's another super,
But
I
RR
believe.
also.
RR fate was done when MI won.
Good 10 hours back.
Yeah. Yep.
Another super, I believe.
Another super.
Last one for the night, then we call
Viraj, is it?
No.
Nitish.
Nitish.
Okay, hi guys, Nitish 1997 saying hi guys. Frankly speaking, I feel bad for Virat. He deserves a better IPL team any day. Anyways, MSD will win.
His big prediction is that CSK are gunning for a 5th. Not the worst prediction in the world.
Yeah.
It'll be a great thing if
Yeah.
that happens. So, we finally have our 4 playoff teams. Let's see now what happens. We have 4 more matches. The first qualifier these are words which you have to etch it in golden words. The IPL takes a break for one day.
One day.
After 2 months of non-stop action, we have 1 day's break.
Yeah.
The first qualifier between GT and CSK, that will happen at the Chepauk on 23rd, followed by the eliminator on 24th. The winner of the eliminator and the loser of the qualifier. Qualifier 2 on Friday, the grand final. We are just 4 games away. The IPL is at its business end now. So from a very heartbroken Gargi and Shane,
I'm not heartbroken. It's okay.
Nikhil, who joined us earlier, and from
I'm the only one who got my prediction right.
Oh yeah, in the end he did. Yes. It's bye-bye, Nandri from all of us. It's been great. Join us for the playoffs now
None.
after a day's break. Thank you. Bye-bye.